The sky above the broken moon was dark and quiet, with pieces of metal and rock floating slowly through the air. Ryan stood at the edge of a broken cliff, his suit cracked, his helmet scratched, and his oxygen low. His small scout ship had been hit by a strange pulse just before he landed. Now the ship was nothing but scraps behind him. No one from the command center was answering his calls. He checked the scanner again. The signal was still there, weak, strange, and not human. He had followed it out of curiosity. Now he was. Stranded on a moon that didn't show up on most star maps. As he walked forward, each step echoed softly against the rocks. Strange symbols were carved into the stone walls nearby. They glowed slightly, like someone or something had written them using light. Ryan bent down to touch one. It was warm. It pulsed under his fingers like it was alive. A sudden sound made him turn. Footsteps. Slow. Steady. Heavy, he stepped back and grabbed his small plasma pistol, though he knew it wouldn't be much use. The footsteps grew louder, and then 5 tall figures came into view. They wore long, black armor that shimmered with hints of purple and blue. Their faces were hidden behind masks, and they each held a spear that crackled with energy. They didn't speak. They didn't raise their weapons. Ryan stood still, unsure what to do. Finally, one of the armored aliens raised a hand and pointed toward a glowing tunnel behind them. Ryan didn't move. "Do you understand me?" he asked. The figure didn't reply, but gave a small nod. It was enough. Slowly, Ryan lowered his pistol and followed them into the tunnel. The walls were smooth and made of crystal. Glowing blue veins ran through the stone, and a soft hum filled the air. It was like walking inside a heartbeat, after what felt like minutes or maybe hours. The tunnel opened into a large chamber. It was beautiful. Tall pillars reached toward a glass ceiling, and a giant crystal throne sat in the middle. Light shined down through the top, making the whole room glow in silver and gold, and there, standing in front of the throne, was someone. Unlike any being Ryan had ever seen, she was tall, even taller than the armored guards. Her skin had a soft, violet glow, and her eyes were like molten gold. Her long hair floated slightly, as if underwater, and she wore a crown that looked like it was carved from starlight. She didn't speak right away. She just looked at him. Ryan felt something strange in his chest. Not fear, not pain, something that made his skin feel warm. She walked down the steps slowly, each movement smooth like flowing water. The guards stayed behind. As she reached him, she tilted her head slightly and studied his face. Her eyes narrowed then, to Ryan's shock. She stepped forward and wrapped her arms around him. It wasn't a cold or formal hug. It was soft, gentle, almost sad. She whispered something. The translator in his suit caught it late, but when it did, the words made his breath catch. "So it's you. My human." He blinked. "What?" She pulled back just a little, her hands resting on his arms. "You've returned?" I don't know you," he said honestly. "I don't even know this place." She nodded slowly, her eyes not leaving. His "No, you wouldn't. Not yet. Who are you?" "I am Queen Lyra of the Crystal Moons. And you, human, are the one who saved me." Ryan felt like he was hearing things. "Me? Saved you." She turned and motioned to one of the guards. The armored figure stepped forward and handed her a small glowing orb. She touched its surface, and a hologram appeared in front of them. It showed a young alien girl, her clothes torn, her arm bleeding, explosions in the background. A battle, a human boy, no older than 10, grabbed her hand and pulled her behind a wall. A moment later, debris fell where she had just stood. The boy had saved her. That's me," Ryan said, staring at the boy. "But I don't remember this." Lyra looked at him. "Your mind blocked it. It happens to humans who face trauma so young, but I remembered. Always." Ryan shook his head. This was too much. Queen, a lost memory, and a moon that didn't exist on maps. It felt like a dream. "Why now?" he asked. "Because the signal you followed was meant for you. I called to the stars, hoping one day you would come back. And now you have." He looked down at his hands. trying to make sense of everything. He'd joined the exploration force to find meaning, to chase the stars. He never thought he'd find a past he didn't know he had. "What happens now?" he asked. She smiled. Softly, a strange sadness in her eyes. "Now you rest. Tomorrow we begin." "Begin what?" But she didn't answer. Instead, she turned and walked back to the throne, leaving him with 100 questions and a heart beating faster than ever before. Ryan woke up in a soft bed that didn't feel like anything human made. The sheets were smooth like silk, and the room was glowing gently with pale blue lights that came from the walls. He sat up slowly, his body still sore from the crash, but his mind even more confused than before. The door opened without a sound, and a tall, alien figure entered. She wasn't wearing armor like the others, just a long silver robe. Her skin was pale green, her eyes kind. "You are safe," she said gently. "The queen has asked for you. She's in the high garden." Ryan nodded slowly. "Thank you." "Yes." He walked through the crystal hallways. He couldn't help but notice how calm everything felt. The guards didn't glare at him. Servants nodded respectfully. Yet still, there was something behind their eyes, curiosity maybe, or something deeper, as if they all knew a story that he didn't remember. He followed the servant up a staircase made of shining stone. At the top, a wide garden spread out before him. Glowing flowers swayed in the breeze. Water flowed through floating streams, and birds with silver feathers sang in the trees. Queen Lyra stood at the edge, her hands folded behind her back. She turned as Ryan stepped closer. "You slept well?" she asked. "Yeah, I think so. Better than I expected." She nodded. "Place calms the mind." He took a breath and said, "Look, about yesterday. Are you sure I'm the same person? I mean, that boy in the hologram looked like me, but I don't remember anything like that." She stepped closer and said, "Memories can hide, but the heart remembers. I saw your face once, long ago. It was during the peace talks with Earth. I was a young princess then. Everything went wrong, an ambush by a third faction. I was trapped under fire. Your ship had just landed nearby. You were only a boy, but you ran toward danger. You saved me, and then you disappeared." Ryan looked down at the ground. It sounded impossible. "I don't remember anything before I was about 11. They told me there was a crash when I was a kid. Maybe that wiped it all." "It did," she said softly, "but not completely. I can feel the same spirit in you." They walked side by side through the garden. Ryan was still trying to understand how all of this had happened. How did he end up on this moon? How did she recognize him so fast? Lyra stopped and pointed to a statue. It showed a young human boy holding a light blade, standing in front of an alien girl. The stone was smooth and detailed. Ryan stared at it for a long time. "You built this?" he asked. "It's been here for years," she said. "Some believed it was just a story. Others believed in you. I never stopped." He turned toward her. "Why me? I'm not a hero. I'm just a scout. I got stranded here by accident." "No, Ryan," she said. "The call was not an accident. Sent it. A beacon using old energy. I had hoped it would find you wherever you were in the stars. But why now?" Lyra looked toward the sky, "'Cause a storm is coming, and I believe only you can help stop it." He blinked. "What kind of storm?" "The void swarm," she said. "You won't find them in human records. They don't leave traces. They consume, then vanish. 3 systems have already gone silent. They are getting closer. What do you think I can do about that?" "It is not just you," she said, "but something inside you, something human, something from that day. I've seen many warriors, many brave people, but the way you acted as a child without fear, without hesitation, it changed me. And now I believe it can change everything." Again, Ryan wasn't sure how to respond. Part of him wanted to laugh, to say she had the wrong person. But another part, deep inside, knew something strange was happening. Something real. "I'm not a leader," he said. "You don't have to be," she replied. "You just have to. Remember who you are. They sat beside a small pond. Silver fish swam in circles below them. The wind moved gently through the flowers. Ryan finally asked, "What happened after that day, after I disappeared?" "Earth ended the talks," Lyra said. "They feared more attacks. My people thought it was betrayal. The wound never healed. No one knew what happened to you, so your name was never spoken again. But I kept the statue. I kept the story." "And now you think the galaxy needs that story again?" "Yes," she said. Ryan looked into the water. "I don't know if I can live up to it." She placed a hand on his shoulder. "You already did, once." They sat quietly after that, and for the first time in a long while, Ryan didn't feel like a stranger. He didn't feel lost. This moon, these people, even the Queen, it all felt familiar now. Like a puzzle piece that had always been missing in his life. When he finally stood, Lyra said, "Rest today. Tomorrow, I will show you the memory chamber. If the past is still inside you, that place will bring it back. And if it doesn't, then I will still believe in you," she said. As Ryan walked back through the glowing hallway, he thought about her words, about the boy in the hologram, about the feeling he had when she hugged him. Maybe this place really was waiting for him. Maybe he really was her human. Ryan couldn't sleep that night. He lay in the soft alien bed, staring at the glowing ceiling. Everything felt too big, too strange. He had come here by accident, yet now a queen believed he was someone important, someone from her past, someone who once saved her life. But Ryan didn't feel like a hero. He felt like a man who had no answers. Outside his room, the palace was quiet. Soft light moved across the halls like slow fireflies. He got up and walked to the balcony. The stars were brighter here, and 2 moons hung above the horizon. One glowed blue, the other silver. He heard footsteps behind him. You couldn't sleep either. It was Queen Lyra. She stood beside him in a simple robe, her crown gone. She looked younger like this, calmer. "Too many questions," Ryan said. She smiled gently. "You're not the only one with questions. Some of my people wonder why I brought you here. Not everyone believes in the old stories." Ryan turned to her. "You mean they don't trust me?" "Some don't. They fear change. They fear the past. But I didn't ask to be part of this." "I know. Fate never asks. It just pulls." He nodded. "You said something about a memory chamber." It's a place built with crystal mines. Can search your thoughts, pull old memories to the surface. But it only works if your heart is open. Do you think it'll work on me?" "I believe it already is." The next morning, Ryan followed Lyra through the palace to a deep underground level. They passed through thick doors and long stone halls. Finally, they entered a wide, circular room with a glowing table in the center. The crystal lights floated above it, spinning slowly. "Lie down," she said. Ryan took a breath, then lay on the table. The crystals above him began to hum. At first, nothing happened. But then light touched his skin, warm and calm. Images flickered in his mind. A field of grass, a bright sun, girl with golden eyes, fear, fire, his heart racing. Metal. Falling from the sky, he gasped as memories surged forward. He saw himself, just a boy, lost in a battle zone. He saw an alien girl trapped behind a burning wall. Without thinking, he ran toward her, pushed her out of the way as the structure collapsed behind them. Pain, dust, her arms around him, her voice saying thank you. Then darkness. When the light faded, Ryan opened his eyes. Lyra stood beside him, her hand over her heart. "You remember?" she said. "I do," Ryan whispered. His head felt heavy, but his heart felt clear. "I remember you. I remember saving you. I didn't know it was real. It was real. It was the moment that changed both our lives." As they left the memory chamber, word of Ryan's memory returning spread quickly. Some guards now looked at him with awe, others with suspicion. Whispers followed him through the halls. In the council room, 5 alien nobles sat around a crystal table. Lyra stood at the center. Ryan beside her, one of the nobles with red markings on his face, spoke first. "Your Majesty, with respect, how can we trust the human? He brings forgotten stories, not proof." Lyra replied calmly. The memory chamber confirmed his past. He is the same boy who saved me. Another noble leaned forward. And now what? Will you make him a warrior? A general? No, Lyra said. He will be my guide. His presence means the old bonds between our worlds can return. Our people fear humans, the red-marked noble said. They think humans left us behind, betrayed us. Ryan stepped forward. I didn't know anything about this before I landed here, but now I do. I'm not here to rule. I'm here because something in me brought me back. If your people fear me, I understand. I feared myself too. The room went quiet. Even the doubters couldn't find the words to argue. After the meeting, Ryan walked alone through the garden. He needed time to think. He heard a voice behind him. They watch you closely. It was one of the younger guards. Name was Sail. She removed her helmet and showed her soft, violet eyes. They think I'll betray them? Ryan asked. Some fear you will. There's fear you won't. You are something new. And new things are always feared. What about you? She paused. I saw the Queen smile after you arrived. That was enough for me. That night the wind changed. Alarms rang across the palace. Red lights flashed in the halls. Ryan rushed out of his room and found Lyra already walking toward the control room. What's happening? He asked a signal, she said. From the outer defense stations. They're gone. Destroyed. The void swarm. Yes. And faster than we expected. In the control room, images showed burning ships and static screens. The defense grid. Around the system was falling. A general turned to Lyra. Your Majesty, we must prepare the fleet. She nodded. Call the High Guard. Wake the War Moons. Ryan stepped closer. What can I do? She looked at him for a long moment. Stay by my side. He did. As the stars outside darkened and the shadows of the void drew closer, Ryan knew his real journey had just begun. He had found his lost memory, but now he had to face a future where every step mattered. He wasn't just the Queen's human anymore. He was a light in the storm. The palace was no longer quiet. The halls were filled with voices, hurried footsteps, and flashing alerts. The calm world Ryan had seen just days ago was now preparing for war. Queen Lyra stood in the main command chamber, her eyes on the large, glowing map that showed the edges of her star system. Red lights blinked where her outer stations had once stood. Now they were gone, silenced by the Void Swarm. The Void Swarm wasn't just a threat. It was a force of destruction that left nothing behind. No survivors, no messages, only silence. How long before they reached the inner moons? Lyra asked. A general stepped forward. 3 days, maybe less. Their ships don't follow normal speed rules. They bend through dark space. Ryan watched the room, trying to take it all in. He was used to scouting, exploring strange places, not planning for galaxy-scale battles. Lyra turned to him. Ryan, come with me. She led him to a private chamber below the palace. The room was small and round, with old tech and human machines mixed with alien crystal tools. It was strange, almost like a secret lab. What is this place? Ryan asked. It was built after you saved me, Lyra said. I gathered anything I could find about humans. Your science, your ships, your ways of thinking. Why? Because I believed you would return. Because I believed human minds could see things differently. We fight with tradition. But humans adapt. They create fast, she showed him. A table with a small ship model on it. It was shaped like no alien vessel he had ever seen. This design, she said, is a mix of your old Earth scout ship and our crystal energy engines. I had it built in secret over many years, but no one has ever flown it. Ryan stared at it. Why me? 'Cause only you carry both worlds inside you. You were raised by humans, but you touched our world before anyone else. The ship needs both parts. He didn't know what to say. His hands touched the cool surface of the ship model. It was beautiful and strange, like him. Suddenly alarms sounded again. A guard rushed in, Your Majesty. One of the moons has fallen. The Void Swarm is already here. Lyra's face turned serious. We don't have days. We have ours. She looked at Ryan. Can you fly it? He nodded slowly. I'll try. The next few hours moved fast. Ryan suited up in armor made from light crystal, shaped for a human body. He stepped inside the new ship, silver, sharp, and glowing from within. It hummed with energy as he sat in the pilot's seat. The controls were strange, but they responded to his touch like they had been waiting for him. Do you hear me? Lyra's voice came through the ship's cum. Clear, he said. We're linking you with the Queen's Mind Stone. You'll feel me guide you. A small crystal near his neck lit up. Suddenly, he felt her presence, not her voice, but her emotions. Calm, strong, trusting. The hangar doors opened. Ryan's ship rose into the air, then shot into space. He flew toward the fallen moon, where smoke and debris floated. Then he saw them black ships with no lights, sharp and endless. The void swarm. They move like one being, a shadow with many hands. Aim for their pulse core, Lyra said through the mind link. They share energy like a hive. Ryan dodged beams of dark energy and flew through gaps in their formation. His ship responded like it was alive, spinning and diving faster than anything he had ever flown. He fired light blades from the wings. Crystal energy sliced through one enemy ship, broke apart with a scream that echoed inside his head. Void ships felt alive. They're organic, he said. Part machine, part creature? Yes, Lyra replied. They were made long ago to destroy. They've no leader, only hunger. Ryan dove into the middle of the swarm. Crystal engines pulsed as he locked onto a large ship at the center. Firing core lance, he said, a beam of golden light. Shot from his ship and hit the enemy. It cracked, then exploded in a wave that pushed the rest back. He pulled up, breathing hard. One down, he said. Too many left. You are doing more than anyone expected, Lyra said softly. As the battle continued, the rest of the Queen's fleet joined in. War moons fired from a distance. Alien fighters surrounded Ryan's ship, covering him as he struck deeper into the swarm. But the void didn't stop. One by one, Allied ships began to fall. The enemy was endless. Suddenly, Ryan's ship shook. The Void Hunter had latched onto his wing. I've got a parasite, he said. Hold still, Lyra whispered through the link. I see it. A flash of light hit the hunter and blew it away. Sail, the young guard, flew past in her own ship. I've got your back, she said. The battle raged for hours. Space was filled with fire, smoke, and broken metal. Finally, the enemy pulled back, not defeated but confused. Ryan's ship had hurt them more than they expected. They're retreating, someone said over the comms. For now, Lyra answered. Ryan landed back at the palace, his body shaking but alive. Lyra met him as he stepped out of the ship. Without speaking, she hugged him again. This time she didn't whisper anything, just held him, and he understood. He had become more than her memory. He had become her strength. The days after the battle were heavy with silence. Smoke still floated around the broken moons, and pieces of destroyed ships drifted like sad memories. Even though the enemy had pulled back, everyone knew it wasn't over. It was only the beginning. Ryan sat alone near the crystal garden. The pond water reflected the two moons above, and the silver fish inside swam slowly, as if they, too, were thinking deeply. He still wore the new armor. It was light, almost part of him now. His body felt tired, but his mind couldn't rest. He kept thinking about the way the void swarm moved, how it fought, how it learned. They didn't act like machines. They adapted with every move. He looked at his hands and said to himself, what are they really? Behind him, Queen Lyra stepped into the garden. She moved quietly, her long robe brushing the floor. They were made long ago, she said, answering his question without him asking. Her directly, by a race that no longer exists. The creators lost control, and the swarm spread. It doesn't think like us. It only knows hunger. Ryan nodded. But it can be hurt. Yes, Lyra said. You proved that. He stood and looked at her. but we lost half the fleet, and they'll come back stronger. That's why we need something new, she said. Something stronger than before. What do you mean? She led him back inside the palace, down into a chamber even deeper than the memory room. The air was thick here, warm and full of humming sounds. The chamber opened into a wide hall. It's filled with machines, both human and alien. Engineers and builders moved quickly, working together. Some were Lyris people, and some were humans, who had arrived in secret days ago after hearing the Queen's call for help. Ryan blinked in surprise. You brought humans here? Not many, she said. Just a few. Old friends. Ones who still believe in peace between us. A tall man with a kind smile walked over. He had gray hair and a human uniform. Ryan, right? He said. I'm Captain Miles. I served with your father. Ryan froze. My father. You don't remember? The man looked sad. We're so young when it happened. Your father was part of the talks between humans and the Queen's people. He died in the same attack where you saved her. Ryan's voice was quiet. I thought I was just lost. You were, the captain said. Lost, but not forgotten. Lyra placed a hand on Ryan's arm. You were never alone. They led him to the center of the chamber, where something large and shining rested on a platform. It was another ship, even larger than the one Ryan had flown. But it wasn't just a ship, it was something else. A mix of energy and form, glowing softly as if it had a soul. What is that? Ryan asked. A Sentinel-class ship, the captain said. Designed by human engineers and shaped by crystal power. It has a living core that connects to its pilot. It learns, it grows, and it listens. Ryan stared at the ship, feeling something stir inside him. It was beautiful, like it was waiting for him. It's not ready yet, Lyra said, but it will be. And when the void returns, we'll use this to end the fight. The next few days were spent training, building, and planning. Ryan worked with both human and alien minds, learning how the Sentinel ship would connect to him. Trained his mind, learning how to stay calm in the link. How to guide the ship with thought, not just controls.sael, the young alien guard who had saved him during the last battle, helped too. She was now one of the lead protectors. Her quiet strength made Ryan trust her. They trained together in the practice room, sparring, flying, and talking late into the night. One evening, while they rested on the palace steps, Sail looked up at the stars. You think we'll win? She asked. Ryan took a deep breath. Don't know, but I think we have to try. You're not the same as when you arrived. You mean I'm stronger? No, she smiled. You believe now. That makes you dangerous to the void. Soon, the sky changed again, scouts reported. Movement in the outer edge of the system. The void swarm was coming back, and this time it was bigger. Everyone gathered in the great hall. Soldiers, pilots, nobles, and human guests. The room was filled with tension, but also something new, unity. Lyra stepped onto the platform. We were once two peoples, she said, divided by fear and time, but today we stand as one. It's not because of power, not because of weapons, but because of a memory. A human boy who risked everything to save a girl he didn't know. That courage is our answer. She turned toward Ryan, and now that boy is a man, and he is ready. The room was silent for a moment. Then a loud cheer arose, strong and full of hope. Ryan felt the weight of it all. But he didn't run from it. He walked forward and raised his hand. We fight not to destroy, he said, but to protect, and we don't fight alone. Everyone stood together that night, humans and aliens looking out at the stars. The storm was coming, but this time, they were ready. The stars flickered with tension. Every ship in Queen Lyra's system stood ready. The final warning had passed. Scouts confirmed the void swarm had entered the edge of the main planetary belt. They moved in silence, like a sea of shadows stretching. Across space inside the Sentinel-class ship, Ryan sat still. He was linked to the ship's living core now, his thoughts connected to its every system. His pulse matched the heartbeat of the glowing crystal behind him. It felt alive, not just a machine, but something more. something that trusted him. "You hear me?" Lyra's voice came through the mind link, soft and steady. "Clear," Ryan answered. "All systems ready." On the command bridge of the main palace ship, Queen Lyra stood tall. Her voice echoed across every human and alien. "Vessel, we stand at the edge of ruin," she said. "But not alone. Our strength is not in our weapons. It is in our unity. The human beside me is not just a memory, he is proof that trust between species can become hope. Today we fight for more than survival. We fight for a future that belongs to all of us." The fleet moved forward like a rising tide. The void swarm arrived like a storm. They came in 1,000 ships without form, built from black metal and living tissue, twisting and changing as they flew. They didn't speak. They didn't warn. They attacked. The battle began with light and fire. Energy beams cut through space. War moons fired great blasts that broke clusters of void ships apart. Fighter wings dodged and danced between deadly beams. Explosions filled the sky, but for every void ship that was destroyed, more took its place. Ryan pushed the Sentinel ship forward, faster than anything else on the battlefield. It spun and weaved through enemy fire. When he thought about moving left, the ship moved left. When he imagined a shield, one formed around him. The link between them was perfect. He aimed for the center of the Swarmacore ship that was bigger and darker than the rest. "Lyra," he said, "I see their center. If we hit it, we can stop them." "I see it too," she replied, "but it's protected by their strongest guardians." "Then I'll break through," Sail's voice came. Next, not alone. Her ship pulled up beside his, and more followed, a mix of alien and human pilots. They formed a wall around Ryan's ship, shielding him from every side. The core ship opened, revealing a massive cannon. Dark energy began to charge. "They're going to fire at the palace fleet," someone shouted. Ryan closed his eyes for a second. His hands tightened on the controls. "Not if we end this first." He drove the Sentinel ship straight toward the cannon. The others followed, keeping the enemy distracted. The living core inside his ship began to glow brighter, reacting to his heartbeat. "Ready the final strike," Ryan whispered. The crystal pulse inside him connected with the ship's weapon. A beam of golden energy began to build at the front of the vessel. The void cannon fired. Time slowed. Ryan's ship twisted at the last second. The void beam missed the palace ships by a breath. And at that exact moment, Ryan released the core blast. A column of pure light shot forward. Brighter than any sun, it struck the center of the enemy's swarm. For a second, everything went still. Then, the core ship cracked apart, glowing from within. Its scream wasn't heard through sound but felt. It's deep in the bones of every living being in the system. The void swarm began to break. One by one, their ships stopped moving. Without the core, they lost connection. They floated helpless in space, some drifting into stars, others simply fading into ash. Cheers broke across the fleets. The battle was over. Ryan's shingle quotes. His ship slowed, smoke rising from its wings. Systems were damaged, but he was still alive. He returned to the palace hangar slowly. As the ship opened, Queen Lyra was already there, waiting. Ryan stepped out, his suit marked with black burns, his body weak. She walked to him, eyes shining. "You did it," she whispered. "We did it," he said. And then, just like the first time, she hugged him. But this time, there was no sadness, only peace. "You're not just the boy from my past," she whispered into his ear. "You're the man who saved my people, my world, it's my heart." Ryan didn't know what to say. He just closed his eyes and held her tighter. Days passed, and the system began to rebuild. Human and alien engineers worked together, sharing knowledge and stories. People who once feared each other now stood side by side. Ryan stayed on the moon, not as a guest, not as a soldier, but as someone who finally found where he belonged. One evening, he and Lyra walked through the garden together. The silver fish still swam in the pond. The flowers still glowed under the twin moons. "What happens now?" Ryan asked. We build a new path, she said. One where human and alien are no longer strangers. And us? He asked quietly. She smiled, golden eyes soft. You've always been mine, even when the stars kept us apart. He reached for her hand, and under the night sky where light and shadow had once fought, peace finally bloomed.